Malaysia, the rising star of a Southeast Asia travel destination. We spent 2 weeks in this beautiful country and were amazed by how diverse, culture-rich and naturally pretty it is. It also has some of the best food we've ever tasted. In this video, we'll guide you through our 2-week Malaysia itinerary, telling you what we got up to on each day of our trip, and giving you plenty of tips and tricks along the way, so you can plan your own visit. We'll take you on a journey through the bustling city streets of Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, onward to the historic town of Ipoh, and on a tour of the best sites of Malaysia's most popular destination, Penang. We'll then end our video with some much needed relaxation on the island of Langkawi. Join us as we explore one of our favourite countries and pack as much as possible into a 2-week trip. Welcome to Malaysia. We started our epic 2-week Malaysia trip in Kuala Lumpur, the country's modern capital city. It's a mix of incredible cultures with a fantastic food scene, nature intertwined amongst its urban centres, and plenty to see and do. It was a perfect start to our trip. On our first full day in Kuala Lumpur, we toured Bukit Bintang on foot. It's a busy, chaotic centre and the top place to stay whilst visiting KL. Neon billboards, towering skyscrapers, and countless shopping malls set the scene for this sprawling urban metropolis. In Bukit Bintang, there are several attractions to check out. We recommend starting your day with a visit to one of the city's tallest buildings, KL Tower. In our opinion, it gives you the best views in Kuala Lumpur, and it's a great place to get an appreciation of how huge the place is. A short walk from KL Tower is the city's KLCC Park. It's a relaxing place to wander around for an hour or so, featuring walking and jogging routes, a picturesque lake, and plenty of park benches. KLCC Park sits at the base of the Petronas Twin Towers, which is the tallest twin towers in the world. It has 88 floors and reaches a staggering 451.9 metres in height. We recommend booking tickets and a time slot online at least a few days before your visit. The rest of our first day was spent touring the many shopping malls of Bukit Bintang. These places are huge. You'll find malls with designer shops and 10 floors, malls with roller coasters, and plenty of quirky cafes and restaurants. You have to end your day by experiencing Kuala Lumpur's famous food scene. For our first evening meal, we walked down the jam-packed street known as Jalan Alor. It's full of street food stalls and affordable restaurants. The nightlife hub of Changkat Bukit Bintang is a good place to grab a drink if you want to stay up a little later. Our second day in KL was dedicated to the older areas of the city. We started our morning at Merdeka Square. It was a site where the Malaysian flag was raised for the first time and is host to independence parades and other events throughout the year. The wider area has a beautiful riverside walking route and several iconic buildings. Next up was Chinatown, one of the oldest areas of Kuala Lumpur. We found it to be unlike anywhere else in KL. It has a great food scene and hidden alleys with hanging lanterns and colourful murals. A key sight to see in Chinatown is Petaling Street. From sunrise until sunset, it's a bustling, noisy street of tourists, locals, and traders selling their goods. If you like Southeast Asian markets, you'll love the atmosphere at Petaling Street. Our final stop in the Chinatown area was a colourful Hindu temple. After grabbing lunch, we ventured along the street to Central Market. Inside, it has everything from fashion wear and accessories to handmade gifts, souvenirs and homeware. There's also an outdoor section of the market, which is a great place to grab a drink or a snack. The final stop on our second day in Kuala Lumpur was the beautiful National Mosque of Malaysia. The mosque is a grand, white stone building featuring a tall minaret at its centre, white marble tiles from ceiling to roof, ornate stone carvings, and large, open hallways. Be sure to check visiting times as it's only open for tourists at specific times of the day. For our final day in the city, we visited some of KL's natural attractions, and it proved to be one of our favourite days of our trip. Perdana Botanical Garden is a free-to-visit colonial-era park that stretches over 226 acres. Walking trails, flower exhibits, and a nice lake make up this serene nature reserve. Just up the road from the Botanical Garden is one of our favourite places in Kuala Lumpur. KL Bird Park is one of the largest aviaries in the world. Some of the different species of birds we encountered during our visit include hornbills, buffy fish owls, toucans, parrots, canaries, and even an ostrich. Eager for lunch, we jumped in a taxi to Little India. Top things to do here include browsing the colourful market stalls and local shops, or trying some Malay Indian food. The smells, sounds and colours will make you feel like you've been transported to the heart of Mumbai. The next attraction on our final day in KL was Thian Ho Temple, one of the city's most visually impressive Chinese temples. Grand red columns, ornate carvings, statues and elaborate roof designs give Thian Ho its distinctive appearance. To end our action-packed time in Kuala Lumpur, we returned to KLCC Park in the evening to see the Lake Symphony water show. The illuminated Petronas Twin Towers light up the night sky, and the fountains of the lake dance to the music. If you have an extra half day in Kuala Lumpur, or find time during day 3 of your visit, we highly recommend checking out Batu Caves. A Hindu shrine built into the side of a cave, the towering monument is an amazing sight to see. You can get there in a short train or taxi ride from the city centre. During our time in KL, we stayed at the Journal Hotel in Bukit Bintang. The location was excellent and we loved their buffet breakfast. We've included a link to the hotel in the description below. After spending 3.5 days in Kuala Lumpur, we had excellent first impressions of Malaysia and were already starting to fall in love with the country. We were also ready for a bit of a quieter atmosphere, which made the next stop on our itinerary the perfect choice. The next day, we boarded a train from KL's main station and headed out to the countryside to a city known as Ipoh. We spent 3 full days in Ipoh and were amazed at the range of attractions, the unique nature setting of the city, and the food scene. After a smooth and speedy train ride, we spent our first day in Ipoh exploring its old town centre. Rows of old, colourful buildings, countless cafes and restaurants, and several historic sites can all be seen on a self-guided walking tour. Concubine Lane is one of the town's busiest and most unique streets. This narrow street has an intriguing story and a past dating back to 1892. These days, it's a bustling collection of market stalls, shops and cafes. The neighbouring Market Lane is another cool street to check out after Concubine Lane. A major draw to Ipoh is its food scene. It rivals Penang for its collection of local dishes and unique Chinese-influenced dishes. Ipoh white coffee, Ipoh chicken rice, and a dessert called cendol are just some of the food and drinks we just had to try on our first day. Ipoh is also famous for its street art murals. We had fun walking around trying to pinpoint the famous murals from photos we'd seen. They're scattered around the old town. Feeling a little tired from all the sightseeing, we ended day one with a leisurely stroll along Ipoh Riverside and watched the sunset in the park. It's one of the quietest, most picturesque areas of town. Having seen most of the sights of Ipoh town centre on our first day, we were eager to venture outside to see the nature Ipoh is famous for. Our first stop of the day was Kek Luk Tong, an impressive cave temple with shrines and monuments. Exiting on the other side of the cave, there was a peaceful lake where you could hire a boat or wander around the gardens. Next up was a man-made cultural village, which was just along the road from Kek Luk Tong. This peaceful park has a series of fun exhibits and photo opportunities, and it's a good chance to get up close to the limestone cliffs. We liked this place much more than we expected. Moving on to our highlight on day 2 of our Ipoh itinerary, Tasik Chirmin, also known as Mirror Lake, is a must-see during your time here. This hidden lake is surrounded by limestone cliffs and is only accessible by walking through a tunnel. The best way to see it is on a short boat trip around the lake. The final stops of the day were 2 temples, which were right next to each other. Sam Pong Tong was our favourite out of the 2, and it reminded us of a scene from Indiana Jones. Ling Seng Tong was a lot bolder and out there in design, featuring traditional Chinese sculptures. Feeling a little sad that we were now on our last day in Ipoh, we packed our itinerary with some of the top remaining attractions. Perak Cave Temple was first up. Located to the north of town, this unique Buddhist temple was built into the side of a cave. It has a grand entrance, golden Buddha statues, and a winding staircase that leads to a viewpoint. On our way back into town, we made a brief stop off at Gunung Lang Recreational Park. This scenic lake park is surrounded by limestone cliffs and can be reached on one of the small ferry boats. We didn't spend a lot of time here, but appreciated the beauty of the lake. The rest of our final day was spent indulging at Ipoh's restaurants, relaxing at our hotel, and getting ready for the main event of the day, the Lost World of Tambun. During the day, the Lost World is a zoo, amusement park, and water park. Visit it on an evening like we did, and it transformed into a hot springs. It has a street of food stalls, animal exhibits, and a neon light island. Stay until the end, and you'll end your trip to Ipoh with a crazy fire show. For our 3 days in Ipoh, we based ourselves at Ipoh Travelodge Hotel, which was just outside of town. The hotel was amazing value for money, and we highly recommend staying here during your visit. We've added a link to the hotel in the description below. Our time in Ipoh had come to an end. We hopped back on the train, switched to a ferry, and headed onward to the island of Penang, Malaysia's most famous tourist destination. It's where we spent a full 5 days. Georgetown is the island's capital. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's the living, breathing heart of the island. It was the first British settlement in Southeast Asia and has a colonial past dating back to the East India Trading Company in 1786. Georgetown is well known for its street art. Colourful murals are everywhere to be seen, some of them more recognisable than others. We had fun finding and taking photos of the iconic street art. We then headed to Armenian Street, a colourful collection of streets, stores and cafes with a distinct Chinese influence. The coffee shops in this area were excellent. Just off the main street, there's a clan house known as Ku Kongsi. It's the largest Hokkien clan house in Malaysia and was a cool sight to wander around for half an hour. There's an entrance fee, but it's very affordable. We weren't done with sightseeing just yet. Chew Jetty was next on the list. This old, rickety jetty is one of Georgetown's iconic clan jetties, a small collection of overwater villages that were built by settling Chinese immigrants in the late 1800s. We ended our first day in Penang with a trip to the foodie district of Chulia Street. Hawker markets, restaurants and street stalls provide an abundance of affordable options for eating out. We'd heard good things about Penang's food, but we were blown away once we actually tried it. Next to Chulia Street is Love Lane, Georgetown's nightlife hub. Our second day in Georgetown was spent covering all the sites we'd missed on the first day, starting with the scenic seaside promenade known as the Esplanade. This quiet area of town is occupied by an 18th century fortress, a memorial clock tower and Penang City Hall. Penang has many beautiful temples, but two of our favourites are located in Georgetown. This impressive golden Thai temple was one of the most incredible temples we've seen in Southeast Asia. Across the road, there's a Burmese temple with a giant golden Buddha statue. Both can be seen in an hour or so. Whilst in the area, we stopped by Gurney Shopping Mall for lunch and a browse around the shops. It's a top place in Penang for some retail therapy. Continuing with the sightseeing for the afternoon, we headed back to the town centre to see some of Georgetown's iconic colonial mansion houses. Blue Mansion is one of the most well known. There's also Penang Peranakan Mansion, a preserved museum that's dedicated to the island's Peranakan heritage. Both houses are well worth a visit. The remainder of your day in Georgetown can be spent exploring any of the sites you missed, or doing what we did, wandering around the colourful, flower-filled streets of Little India. This vibrant Indian district has some excellent shops, restaurants and a Hindu temple. Our time in Penang was spent in 2 hotels, the first of which was Yang Keng Hotel in Georgetown. This tiny, brightly coloured heritage hotel had an excellent location and was beautiful to look at, but the rooms were quite small. We've included a link to book the hotel in the description below. We'd spent 2 full days exploring Georgetown. On the 3rd day in Penang, we headed outside of the city centre to experience the island's nature. Penang Hill was our first stop. It's a towering hill resort area with stunning views of Georgetown. It's full of hiking trails, viewpoints, attractions, and most importantly, an abundance of wildlife and jungle scenery. To get there, we boarded a funicular for a quick ascent to the top of the hill. Although the hill can get busy, it feels peaceful and relaxing. The scenery and wildlife is amazing to see. Speaking of wildlife, the star attraction of Penang Hill was next on our list. Located in the same area, the habitat is a biosphere nature reserve that was created to protect the beautiful forests of the region. During our visit, we saw many species of birds, insects, reptiles, and a variety of exotic plants. We also bumped into plenty of monkeys. The habitat was a highlight of our visit to Penang. It's well worth the added cost. After spending most of our day on Penang Hill, we descended to the bottom of the hillside and had one last stop on our itinerary, a beautiful temple called Kek Lok Si. It's Malaysia's largest Buddhist temple, featuring a series of temple buildings, shrines, statues, lanterns, and a waterfall. We were most impressed by the giant Buddha statue that sits at the top of the temple. Day 3 and 4 of our time in Penang were spent in the Batu Ferringhi area of the island. This relaxing beach area is a much quieter, tranquil place than the bustling Georgetown, giving us some much needed rest after many days of sightseeing. We spent the next 2 days relaxing in a beach resort and visiting the nearby attractions. Tropical Spice Garden was one of them. It's a neatly manicured garden with tropical spice plants, terraces, and tropical walking trails. We were lucky to come across an abundance of monkeys swinging through the trees, including the elusive dusky leaf monkey. We spent our evenings in Batu Ferringhi at the night market. It has a collection of the usual handmade gift and clothing stores you find in Southeast Asian markets, but what we loved most about it was the endless food and drink options. The restaurants and snack stores we tried in Batu Ferringhi were some of the best on our trip. The final attraction we visited on our last day in Penang was Utopia, a large indoor biome that surrounds you with tropical plants, walking trails, and best of all, butterflies. It's an educational attraction, but you can also appreciate the beauty of Penang's nature and wildlife. During our final nights in Penang, we splashed out and stayed at Shangri-La Rasa Sayang Hotel in Batu Ferringhi. It was our favourite hotel experience of the trip, and we loved every minute. We've included a link to our hotel review video in the description. Our final stop in our Malaysia 2-week trip was the country's #1 beach destination of Langkawi. Located just south of Thailand's Andaman Islands, this beautiful coastal paradise treated us to sunny skies, relaxing hotels, and some excellent natural attractions. After flying into Langkawi on a short flight from Penang, we spent our morning relaxing in the quiet family beach area of Pantai Tengah. This is also where we stayed. The beach is peaceful and relaxing, featuring only a couple of beach cafes and a selection of resorts. After lunch, we got a taxi to the north of Langkawi for a boat tour around the island's mangroves. This UNESCO protected nature reserve has a series of natural mangroves, beaches and dense forests. We joined a private boat tour and spent 2 hours navigating the mangroves with a guide. We got to see eagles, monkeys and various other animals that make the area their home. Make sure you do your research and book with an ethical tour company. We opted for a company called Jungle Walla Tours. To round off our first day of adventure in Langkawi, we visited the best beach on the island, Tanjung Ru. Located right next to Kilimjaya Forest, it's a nice place to visit for sunset. You can't swim there due to jellyfish, but the scenery makes it worth the visit. We started off our second day bright and early with the Langkawi cable car. It's said to be one of the steepest cable cars in the world, taking you up the side of the mountain at a 42-degree angle. At the top of the cable car, there's a suspension bridge, several viewpoints, and a short nature trail. At the base of the cable car ride, there's a small village area that's worth wandering around for an hour or so. It has ornate bridges, shops, and a selection of cafes. There's also an unusual 3D museum attraction where you get free entry as part of your cable car ticket. We didn't expect much from the 3D museum, but had a great time taking ridiculous photos on the 3D looking paintings. Our final stop-off point of the day was Telaga Tujuh Waterfall, a series of natural pools, waterfalls and nature walks. It's a perfect place to cool off in the hot weather. The rest of your second day can then be spent doing what we did, enjoying your hotel pool and relaxing on the beach. We finally reached the last day of our Malaysia 2-week itinerary. Langkawi has a few other attractions worth checking out, but we recommend going on an island hopping tour. The islands to the south have some amazing beaches, lagoons and coastal scenery. You can do the tour on a standard boat, however, we went for the more exhilarating jet ski island hopping tour. We spent half a day zooming between islands, stopping off at beaches, and getting up close to lagoons, caves and limestone cliffs. We wrapped up our last day in Malaysia in Langkawi's tourist hotspot, Pantai Chenang. This bustling resort area is a hub for all island nightlife and shopping. It also has a long, white sand beach. Enjoy a beach fire show and raise a glass to an epic trip in Malaysia. Our hotel choice for Langkawi was a Riaz Langkawi resort. This modern tower hotel is located in the quiet Pantai Tengah beach area and boasts an excellent rooftop pool. We found it to be a good price for the facilities on offer. That brings us to the end of our Malaysia adventure. We hope we inspired you with ideas for your own Malaysia itinerary, and you can explore the amazing places we featured in our video. If you liked our video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to check out our separate Langkawi, Penang, Kuala Lumpur and Ipoh travel videos for more inspiration. Thanks for watching.